All right, this next step is going to probably be the most time consuming because we have to add entity framework to our project. So you're going to right click, manage NuGet packages. And what you're going to want to install is Entity Framework Core SQL Server and Entity Framework Core Tools. And you want to make sure they are the same level of .NET Core. So I created a project in .NET Core 7. So that is the level of Entity Framework that I'm installing. Once those are installed, then you are going to create the context class in your model folder. And I have given you the code for that. Everything except for the Fluent API. And the Fluent API that you need to enter is here. And then the first entry basically specifies the composite key. And then for the second and third, we are specifying the foreign keys. So once you have copied all of the code that I provided, you are going to come in and you are going to add your Fluent API. So I'm going to pause while I do that. All right, so I've got that entered. Let me save this. Next step, we need to modify app settings so we can get our connection string in there. Okay, and I think I'm just going to copy and paste. Okay, and the name of this database is going to be Employee DB Chapter 12. Next step, Program CS, we've got to add our dependency injection for those services that we need. Let's see, for basically our database. So I am going to add the using statements up at the top first. Oops. Maybe framework core. Using employee chapter 12 models. Microsoft. The framework core infrastructure. All right. And now that I've got that in there, add my dependency injection between the builder object and the add controllers with views. So it's builder.services. You guys should be used to this because we've done it quite a bit. Options. Not SQLite. That's what happens when you do a typo. Use SQL Server. Dot configuration. Okay, connection string, hopefully. And we'll put in default connection. Now let's see if I got all of that right. I always double check for typos. All right, I think that looks okay. Let me save everything and run a build. All righty, that looks good. So I'm going to quick check to make sure I do not have that database already in here. Because there it is. Let me delete this. Can't very well create it if it's already there. All right. So now is the time for migrations. So you want to go into the Package Manager console, and it's going to be Add Migration. And we will call this Initial Create. Okay, and that worked. If you see red, that is a problem that you need to fix because you will not have a working database with that. Same goes for this next command. I'm going to do update database. Red is bad, so you hope not to see anything red, and that did work. So I'm going to go over to the Object Explorer, and let me refresh this. And what I'm specifically going to look at is the keys. Make sure that those are correct. So I'm going to kind of take a look here. Let's see if I can resize this a bit. So that looks fine. Department locations. This was the one that we did with the Fluent API. And you can see primary key, foreign key. So that looks correct. Then we've got departments. That was a fairly simple one. Locations is also pretty simple. And then we've got employees, which should have 2 foreign keys. Okay, so we can take a look and make sure our data was generated okay. I think it was. Look at this one. All righty, I think that looks good. So our next little step here is going to be to do all of the scaffolding. And we are going to scaffold all of the tables, which are basically our models. So let me close out some of these. I get way too many things open. And because we have quite a few of them, I think it's easier to keep track of where you're at if you open up your models folder. But we're going to right click on controller, go to add and new scaffolded item. This is going to be an MVC controller with views using Entity Framework. And we are going to, I usually just start at the top. Benefits was the first one. And employee context is what we have to use. And I'm just going to click on add. All right, one down, several to go. I'm going to pause the video while I create the rest of them. All right, so at this point, I've got all the scaffolding done. I'm just going to quick run a build here, make sure there's no issues. And I'm going to update my layout and add a menu link to each of my index pages. So I'm just going to basically copy the home link here. And paste it like 5 times. And so the next one I'm going to do is employees. And then I've got benefits. Department. Location. And department location. Okay, I do not need to change the action method it's going to because I want it to go to the index 1 on all of them, but what is displayed on the menu needs to change. And so this would be location of departments. Alrighty, so let's save. And we should be able to run this. And let's see, take a look at the benefits first. And let's edit. Okay, that looks like it's working. Let's go over to department. Have to check, did I not create those? Let's look. Employees is working. Location of departments probably isn't working either. I probably have a typo. Let me look and see what I got going on here. Index, department location, department. Let's see. Benefits, departments. Yes, I do. Locations, department locations. Now it'll work. Save this. Let me stop it. I'm just going to rerun it here. Okay, so we'll try this again. Location. Yay. And location of departments. Department is working. Employees. Let's add somebody. This would be Frankfurter. Yay. All right. Let's see. Benefits. Let's give them a different package. Department. Put them in a different department. And that all seems to work okay. All right. So at this point, as long as you've tested it and you can see everything is displaying, you are done with this part of the assignment.